Hey there, English learners! Welcome back to the TalkUp English channel. I'm Brian, your host, and it's great to be here with my amazing co-host, the one and only
Chloe. Hi, Brian. And a huge hello to all of you joining us today, wherever you are in the world. We're so happy to have you with us for another exciting episode.
Today, Chloe, we're tackling a topic that can feel a bit scary for many people, especially when you're learning a new language: job interviews.
Oh, absolutely, Brian. Job interviews can be nerve-wracking, even in your native language, right? But when you have to do it in English, it adds another layer of challenge. So today, we want to help you feel more confident and prepared.
That's right. Our goal is to make this process feel less intimidating. We're going to simulate a job interview right here on the podcast. I'll be the interviewer, and Chloe will be the candidate. We'll go through some common questions, and Chloe will give you some great examples of how to answer them clearly and naturally.
And remember, we'll be speaking a bit slower than usual, using clear and simple vocabulary, so it's perfect for our A1 and B1 level learners. You can listen, repeat, and practice along with us.
Perfect. So let's set the scene. Imagine you've applied for a job, and now you've been invited for an interview. It's an exciting but also important moment. First impressions matter a lot.
They really do. So let's start with the very beginning of an interview. The interviewer will usually greet you and might start with a general question to make you feel comfortable.
All right, Chloe, let's get started. Come on in. Sound of a gentle knock, then a chair being pulled.
Good morning, Mr. Johnson. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, Chloe. Please have a seat. It's great to meet you. My name is Brian Johnson, and I'm the hiring manager here.
It's a pleasure to meet you too, Mr. Johnson.
Please call me Brian. So, Chloe, thank you for coming in today. Let's start with a common opening question, just to get to know you a little better. Tell me a little about yourself.
Okay, this is a classic. It's not asking for your life story, but a brief summary of your professional background and why you are a good fit for this job. So for A1, B1 learners, keep it simple and focused. Well, I've always been very interested in mention the field related to the job. I have number of years of experience working as your profession or role, mostly focused on mention a key skill or area. In my last job, I learned a lot about something relevant. I am a very organized and friendly person, and I enjoy mention a relevant hobby or interest briefly.
That's a great example, Chloe. It's concise and relevant. Let's break down why that works well for our learners.
Absolutely, Brian. What I did there was start with an interest. I've always been very interested in. This shows your passion for the field. For example, if it's a marketing job, I've always been very interested in how companies connect with people. Mention experience if you have it. I have number of years of experience working as your profession or role. If you don't have many years, you can say, I have some experience working as or I recently graduated from university name where I studied your field. Highlight a key focus or skill, mostly focused on key skill. This shows what you're good at. For example, mostly focused on customer service or mostly focused on data analysis. Mention a relevant learning point. In my last job, I learned a lot about something relevant. This shows you grow and learn. Maybe I learned a lot about teamwork, or I learned a lot about managing projects. Describe personal qualities. I am a very positive adjective and another positive adjective person. Choose adjectives like organized, friendly, motivated, hardworking, reliable. Add a small, relevant personal touch. Optional, but nice. And I enjoy relevant hobby or interest. For instance, if it's a creative job, you could say, I enjoy painting in my free time. If it's about teamwork, you can say, I enjoy playing team sports. Keep it short.
Excellent breakdown. It helps our listeners see the structure. Now let's move on to another very common question. After you introduce yourself, the interviewer often wants to know about your qualifications or education. So the next question is usually, what are your main qualifications or what is your educational background?
Okay, for this question, you want to talk about your studies or any special training you have. Again, keep it clear and simple. I studied your major or field at university or school name. I graduated in year. During my studies, I learned a lot about one or two key subjects relevant to the job. I also have mention any certificate or course from where you got it. I am always eager to learn more and improve my skills.
Perfect. That's very straightforward. Why is that answer effective for our A1 and B1 learners, Chloe?
It works well because it provides the essential information without too many complex sentences. State your degree, field, and university. I studied your major at university name. If you didn't go to university, you can say, I completed a vocational course in your field at school name. Or, I have a high school diploma from school name. Mention graduation year, optional. I graduated in year. Highlight relevant learning. During my studies, I learned a lot about key subjects. Pick subjects that relate directly to the job. For example, for an IT job, I learned a lot about coding and network systems. Add extra qualifications. I also have a certificate or course. This shows you are proactive. Maybe a certificate in graphic design or a course in advanced Excel. Show willingness to learn. I am always eager to learn more and improve my skills. This is a great closing sentence for this type of question, as it shows you're motivated.
Fantastic. Now, Chloe, what if someone is applying for their first job and doesn't have much work experience? How can they answer questions about their background?
That's a very common situation for many of our listeners. If you don't have direct work experience, you can talk about volunteering. I volunteered at organization name for time, and I helped with tasks. School projects. In school, I worked on a project where I described what you did relevant to the job. Part-time jobs, even if not directly related, I had a part-time job at store name where I learned about customer service and working with the team. Relevant hobbies. My hobby is hobby. And through this, I developed skills in relevant skill, e.g., organization, creativity, problem solving. The key is to connect whatever experience you have to the skills needed for the job.
That's really helpful advice. It shows that even without formal job experience, you can demonstrate valuable skills. Let's move on to another crucial question in interviews, Chloe. Why are you interested in this position or company?
Okay, this question is super important. You need to show that you did your research about the company and the job and that you are genuinely interested, not just looking for any job. So, I am very interested in this position because mention something specific about the job description that excites you. I also admire company name because mention something positive about the company, its mission, products, culture, or recent achievements. I believe my skills in your key skill and my experience in your area would be a great fit for your team and help the company achieve its goals.
Wow, that's a very strong answer. It shows real thought and connection. How can our listeners build an answer like that?
Here's how to break it down. Connect to the job role. I am very interested in this position because mention something specific from the job description. For example, because it focuses on digital marketing, which is my passion, or because it involves working directly with customers, which I enjoy. Show company knowledge. I also admire company name because mention something specific and positive about them. This means you need to research the company before the interview. Look at their website, their About Us page, or recent news. Maybe they have a great company culture, or their products are innovative, or they focus on sustainability. For example, I admire your company because of its commitment to environmental protection, or I admire your company's innovative technology. Explain your fit. I believe my skills in your key skill and my experience in your area would be a great fit. Emphasize how you can help them.
Fantastic points. Doing your research is so critical. It shows you're serious about the opportunity. Now, Chloe, sometimes interviewers ask about your strengths and weaknesses. Let's start with strengths. What are your greatest strengths?
For strengths, choose 2 or 3 qualities that are relevant to the job and give a small, simple example for each. For strengths, I believe my greatest strengths are being organized and a good communicator. For example, in my previous role, I always kept my tasks very organized, which helped me complete projects on time. Also, I am good at explaining complex ideas clearly to others, which was helpful when I had to train new team members.
Very clear and effective, Chloe. Why is it good to provide examples?
It's important to give examples because anyone can just say they are organized, but an example shows it. Even a simple example makes your answer much stronger and more believable. Choose relevant strengths. Think about the job description. Does it need someone who is organized, a good problem solver, a team player? Keep examples brief, especially for A1 and B1 levels. A short sentence is enough. I am a good problem solver. For example, I once helped my team find a solution to a difficult technical issue.
That's excellent advice. Show, don't just tell. Now, the trickier one. What do you consider your greatest weakness? This can be difficult to answer even in your own language.
Yes, this one needs a careful approach. You don't want to say something that makes you sound bad for the job. The best way is to mention a minor weakness, but then explain how you are working to improve it. Well, sometimes I can be a bit too critical of my own work. I always want things to be perfect, which can sometimes make me spend a bit too much time on details. However, I'm learning to manage this by setting clear deadlines for myself and trusting my initial work more often. I also ask for feedback from colleagues more often to get different perspectives.
Wow, Chloe, that's a brilliant way to handle that. It turns a potential negative into a positive. How can our listeners adapt this strategy?
Here's the key. Choose a minor weakness. Don't pick a weakness that is essential for the job. For example, if it's a sales job, don't say, I'm not good at talking to people. Instead, pick something that isn't central to the role or a common human trait. Frame it positively. Present it as a challenge you are actively working on. Explain your improvement plan. This is the most important part. Show that you are self-aware and proactive. I am working on this or I'm learning to.
That's fantastic advice for navigating a tough question. It shows maturity and a growth mindset.
Exactly. Remember, the interviewer doesn't expect you to be perfect. They want to see that you are self-aware and willing to grow.
This has been incredibly helpful, Chloe. We've covered some really fundamental interview questions for our learners. We've talked about, tell me a little about yourself, what are your main qualifications or educational background, why are you interested in this position or company, what are your greatest strengths, what do you consider your greatest weakness?
And we've given you clear, simple ways to answer these, perfect for A1 and B1 levels, focusing on making you sound confident and natural.
Amazing! We're just getting started with this mock interview. In our next segment, we'll continue with more common questions like discussing your experience,
handling behavioral questions, and even how to ask questions yourself at the end of the interview.
Sounds like a plan. So stick around, everyone. You're listening to the TalkUp English channel, and we'll be right back after this short break.